involved in it, I think. We're back with Adrian Carver. He's president of Young Democrats of New Mexico, and we're talking to him about the inner workings of your organization there. Give us an idea on why you get involved with what you did previously and how it led you to this. That way the public knows, or the viewers know what it is that you did prior.
Well, so to start, I grew up in a family where my dad woke up every day and went and built houses. And so I saw him every day getting up and laboring so that my sister and I would have opportunity. And at the same time, I saw my mom, she was helping out with the business, but she would go to the schools and fight for my rights as a student. And so I saw a small business being built, and I saw a community activism growing up. And so I saw those things at a very formative time in my life. And so it's important to me that I'm a part of conversations that I hope to represent communities that don't necessarily get represented in our governmental system right now. So I constantly seek out opportunities to represent folks who don't have that voice, and Young Democrats is one of those vehicles for me.
And who formed this organization? Was it you, or was it someone else that actually formed this organization a few years back? Or?
We're chartered through a national organization, and so we're a member of a national organization, and the organization has ebbed and flowed. It's been very organized at points, and sometimes energy.
So the local chapter is affiliated to the national, and then you have to abide by their policies and stuff like that.
Correct.
Right? So that's, I didn't realize it was national there. I know there was a national organization similar to that, but I didn't know this was it.
Yes, we're affiliated with them.
Okay. All right. So when you're talking to the individuals and the younger generation, I believe you said 35 and below. Mm-hmm. So when they're actually starting to work with candidates, is there any specific training that you put them through so they know what to expect or how to?
We have a toolkit for chapters so that they have all of the information, all templates of documents that they might need to send out. We hope to develop a candidate training program and a campaign worker training program. Some of these things are down the line in our organizational structure.
They're in the pipeline, but they haven't been.
Correct.
Okay, I see. Was there anything like Emerge New Mexico, right? They have their complete set of training for the ladies that go in there. It's a very good thing. I was just talking to Liz Thompson. She's a graduate, Emerge graduate. It's very formatted, so someone walks in as a brand new, as a layperson, doesn't know anything about how to run for office. So I think this, the way you're describing it, where you have a format down your training and you have guidelines, because they need to follow a certain guideline. I think that's what probably would make them successful down the road.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole host of programs that are really great about training candidates, like Emerge in New Mexico, like the Wellstone training, which is a national training. And we hope to do something, and we're excited to put something similar like that together, where we can get young progressives to run for office and to give them the tools that they need to be successful, to get elected, so that they can implement progressive policies.
Anyone in specific that has come through your organization that actually ran for office lately?
The national committee man on our board of directors is State Senator Jacob Candelaria.
Yes, Candelaria, sure. So 26, I think, District 26.
Yeah, District 26. He's also 26 years old, and he's a great example of a young person putting in the work, putting in the passion to get elected and to represent the working families in his district. And we're excited to work with young, youthful candidates and to work with young people to get them elected, and we're excited to give them that support in the future.
I think that depends a lot on their training. If they're trained early on, the chances of them actually running for office or supporting a candidate is pretty high. Some of them, I think, fizzle out, but then eventually it really depends on the leadership in how you handle the incoming traffic, as far as teaching them and coaching them, keeping them involved. I think there's a lot of functions you guys.
I think it really speaks to our generation, because we really want to get involved. I mean, when we donate to charities, we donate to specific charities that we know to be successful. The millennial generation is very different than many other generations, and it's important that young people get involved with the political process.
And they need, and it's a good thing, keeps them out of trouble, number one. Especially, I'm talking about very young.
Yeah.
It keeps them out of trouble. I remember I started out my kids pretty young into, giving them an understanding of politics, and I was glad that I did that, because they, when I talk to them right now, they're able to hold the conversation, understand certain policy issues. And sometimes when you talk to youngsters, they have no idea what you're talking about when you're talking about specific policies. So if you were to come up with a specific guideline for them, I think you'll be very successful. What are your aims for this year? I know it's a mayoral candidate there. Are you supporting? I'm sure you're supporting Pete Dinelli there.
We are supporting Pete Dinelli for mayor in Albuquerque. We think it's important to have somebody representing our working families in Albuquerque, and we think that Pete is a very great candidate, and we really look forward to having him on the 11th floor of City Hall, so that
very experienced.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
Pete was on my
whole lot
he
of
was on my show, and
yes.
I wish him the best. I really do. He's very experienced, lots of
very
experience,
knowledgeable.
Yes, very knowledgeable. And I think his son just graduated from law school. I think he just passed the bar exam. I think so. But going back to him, I think he has a potential to be the next mayor. And I know the current mayor has he's pretty popular. Mayor Barry is popular, but then I think when they took his polling, it was individual polling. They hadn't compared him to another candidate yet. When Paul Hay came in, Pete came in, I think then he started to kind of drop a little bit into the polls there.
Well, I think what's going to be important is in these coming months up until October, until the election, is going to be a conversation on why Albuquerque is still lagging many other metropolitan areas in the bounce back from the Great Recession.
And we are lagging, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
no
you can feel it in our communities. Our working families are struggling, and I think that the raise in the minimum wage was a great thing, and that's a part of the conversation that I think that we're gonna have in the coming months.
The current mayor is pretty strong, though. You have to. I mean, he is strong, but then Pete's catching up to him. I think Paul Hay. I'm not sure how Paul fits in there, but. We'll talk a little bit about other candidates you're working on. I'm going to take a little break.
Okay.
We'll come back and we'll go into our last segment there, okay? Sounds good. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with Adrian Carver.